versus like for his job, his dad's job, his mom's job.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I feel like if we knew more, it would be easier to
volunteers really
make a decision on it.
Yeah.
We made Patrick cry.
Alright, we're gonna look at the bigger issues next. If you want to start thinking about core
Catherine!
what values of yours reinforce the question.
Can you fill it out with super?
Alright, are we ready to go? Talk about this? Yeah. Okay.
The camera is on.
That's crying.
Alright, ready?
So sad.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're
Alright, tell me what dilemma. I didn't get a chance to make it to all the groups, so I'm sorry, but I want to hear what was our dilemma?
Cisco Pacino's the nicest lady ever.
What was our dilemma?
His white nose.
Morgan, can you tell us?
I was thinking that it was like they're spending money on things that they don't really need, and then they're gonna go and apply for financial aid to send their kids to school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like putting money towards things that they don't need in front of their child's education.
Good. Yeah. Anything else we can add to this? That's definitely a dilemma. I guess it would be children, right? They have so many children.
Only 4.
It's a lot. Personal bias coming out. All right, Mark, go ahead. Another one.
Like, if they don't have a problem spending $30,000 a year on private school, like why are they suddenly having a problem paying for college?
Okay. So can I summarize that to say maybe private school cost versus
Yeah.
college cost? Good.
Yeah.
Good. Any other dilemma? I think it sums it up, right? You have these two friends, they're spending all this money on other things in their life, but now they want some financial aid to afford cost of tuition for their kids. How does the ethicist respond? What does Kaya say? Gabrielle.
Can you give us like a logical explanation as to like they have every like opportunity to do it, so they might as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like he tells them that the eligibility requirements are like properly designed, and they wouldn't like take opportunities away from poor families. And since they have the opportunity to apply for it, they should.
Good. Yeah, so they have the opportunity just like everybody else has the opportunity, and this system has been properly kind of designed to afford maybe underprivileged families the same exact opportunity as them. So it's kind of a level playing field, so why not do it? Raise your hand if you agreed. His logical response was convincing. His argument was convincing. Okay, good. A little more than half. Did anybody else say anything different? Or can anyone else elaborate on why they agreed with his response? Kat?
Well, I agree with the, like, as long as they're not lying about it, it should be alright. But, I told you, like, if they're being, like, my friend, she goes to Winchester Thurston. She's like, she lives in Squirrel Hill. She's like very wealthy, but she still goes to Winchester Thurston on a scholarship because of like how smart she is. She like takes a like placement test every year, and they give her a certain amounts of money for being like clever, and they want her to go to that school because it's like an expensive school. But she could
Right.
afford the school without the scholarships, and by rewarding her with money. Like for some people, like that's not a reward. Like they have to have that money or else they can't go. They have to be smart or else they can't go. So by rewarding her, it's like money is a reward for some people, and for others, it's just like it's a necessity. So it's hard to like know where to draw the line.
Right.
It's like a family by family, kind of play by play.
Is it safe to say, can I put that almost down here under disagree? It's hard
Yeah.
to draw the line, because I feel like that's just an important issue also. Anyone else agree? Why does this response make sense? Hannah?
We were just talking about how, like, equal opportunity, basically, like, you need to have the same chances for a wealthy family as you do for underprivileged or like poor family, or else like the system wouldn't work. And you also have to take into account like you don't know how everyone is choosing to spend their money, and it also could, since they have like, it also depends on how many kids you're putting through and all, like there's a lot of different factors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the school considers in the end.
Good.
Hi, Carolyn.
Any reason why oh, Rachel, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, even though, even though, like, it's the school's decision to, if they're gonna give them money or not, and if they fill out, like, the papers and everything truthfully, then they're not gonna give them money because they know that they have enough money to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like somebody who's not so wealthy is gonna get the same amount as somebody like wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
They still look over that and like they want your money basically.
Mhm.
So
Right. So it doesn't mean just because they apply, they might get a partial scholarship versus someone who doesn't have as much money could be entitled to a full scholarship. Yeah, so and it's the school's decision, the school has the ability to do that. Good. Is there anybody who disagrees with this? We were very easily convinced by the ethicist. Or what's something you could use for a counter argument? So if you agree with him, what's something that someone who would disagree with him could bring out? Go ahead.
that the parents probably should have thought of this before they had 4 kids.
Wow.
That's rough.
If
If they value their kids' education so much to go and like ask for money, then they should stop spending it.
Right. So parents should value education, that's what they should spend their money on.
Yeah.
They're deciding to value education.
I think that's a good point, and that kind of plays into the next question I'm going to ask you. So if they value education, again, they're gonna spend their money on it. And that's something I feel like sometimes even we ourselves don't take into account, right? However you spend your time shows what you value as a person, right? If you spend your time, I don't know, playing video games for 5 hours a day, that shows you really enjoy free time, video games, I don't know. Does that make sense? Like how you spend your time and how you spend your money say a lot about you. Hannah, go ahead.
I was gonna say how also, it's kinda like because they're choosing to go there, it's like a privilege to go to that private school.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have the opportunity to get that level of education. So it's kind of like, I don't know, weird that they're asking for financial aid when like they don't have to do this, as some people wouldn't even be able to afford it at all.
Absolutely. So what about the kids who, are going to that public school who can't afford lunch, right? That seems like a different scenario than, this is a privilege to go there. You don't have to go there. You'll be okay if you go, there are other public schools in the area. Maybe they're not happy with it, but like Brooke was saying earlier, we don't know why they are not happy with this school, right? So it's not like they don't have
Yeah, if they
another
value
cost
education.
option, right? Value education. So tell me a little bit about this. What core values are at play in this discussion? Education is definitely one of them, right? How much do you value as a person education? How important is it? What other values?
Saving money.
Saving money? Go ahead, talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I don't know about like the family, like I don't know like the background information, but maybe they like realize that spending like $120,000 on private school a year for one kid
Mm-hmm.
times 4 kids eventually, it just isn't gonna, they're like gonna run out of money like really quickly, and they're not gonna be able to make enough to send all of them to college using their own money.
Right. So how do you save, or how are you a spender, a saver? How are you choosing to spend your money? Yeah, good. What other values?
It's really like a parental thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know like what the word is, but it's like if they're gonna spend, they should have like evaluated how they were parenting if they decided to spend all that money and then realize halfway into their 4 kids that they don't have enough money to pay for school.
Right. I'm not sure how to say that either, so I'm
Yeah.
just taking it, but that makes sense, having this money, but having 4 kids and then later thinking, how do I, I'm having
Yeah.
4 kids and I'm sending 1 kid here, so what do I do? And in my experience, my parents moved, like I went to a private Catholic school and then my sister came along and was like, nope, time to get out of there, right? So that's what my parents had to do, but they evaluated after me, not before, so that's a good point. Kayla, go ahead.
Well, I think with your situation, it'd be different because, like, I don't know. It'd be
and then didn't like keep her, like you in, and then like not put her in at all.
No, that's
like,
true. Yeah,
Like
we
took you
both-
both at
yeah.
the same time, like, okay,
Right.
this happened, it's time to change.
Time to change, yeah, that's true.
But I think like it has to do with money management, like where they
Yeah.
want, like this has to go to value thing, but like where they want to spend their money, and like they want more merchandise rather
Right.
than knowledge.
Right. I like that, merchandise versus knowledge. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah. Merch versus knowledge, good. I think that translates into the bigger issue in society too, and even maybe for our culture. What do we, if we were to think about just a tiny microcosm of West Allegheny, what do you think we value, merchandise versus knowledge?
Merchandise.
Merchandise? Raise your hand if you think merchandise, overall, like as a whole, I know this is stereotypical.
Or
Yeah, I'm
like,
talking about,
like
no,
the school.
the school, like everyone in the culture.
Yeah.
Like the
Knowledge.
teachers, the
No.
the
Knowledge.
money.
Yeah.
Do you look at our computers? Come on, dude, we got pink pads.
Alright, so talk to me a little bit about that.
Football sweatshirts.
Money and merchandise, most people said,
Merchandise.
not knowledge.
I
Why?
Okay,
Go ahead.
Well, I think, well, I would, like, my opinion, like, got swayed because you said school. Like, the school obviously focuses on money and stuff like that, but individual students focus on, like, merchandise as opposed to knowledge.
Oh, so are you separating these two? I'm sorry.
No, but because you said, like, who values what, and then
Yeah.
you said, like, I thought you were meaning, like, students here at the school, a
That's
lot of
different.
them value merchandise instead
Okay.
of knowledge. You know, but then you said, like, the school in general, like, school board members
Mhm.
and stuff like that, they obviously value knowledge over that, so.
Okay, I got you. So the students as a subgroup of the culture have a different set of values than the school board members and
Yeah.
teachers.
And
Okay,
it's
good.
certain students, not all of them, obviously.
Yeah, definitely not all of them, but it's enough that you can tell. Okay, good. Rachel, go ahead.
I feel like at some levels of like the school district, you have to focus on like both the merchandise and the knowledge at
Mhm.
an equal level.
Yeah,
Because like we have the computers and everything as a source for knowledge.
right.
And that's the
True.
only reason we're supposed to use them.
Right.
And books and everything, and so.
Right. So we might have the school service tablets, but we're supposed to be using them to gain knowledge, not to take selfies. Good. Oh yeah, all the time, inappropriately. Any other bigger issues that this brings up in society? This is exactly where the commentary comes in. Right? If you were given this kind of ethical dilemma, yeah, go ahead, Hannah.
I just think like it shows how like as a society we kind of think like successful people, we think of like the items, like material things, like a big house, and like you don't really think like you don't value success as like I know all this stuff about my profession, you know, you kind of just think like I want to get this job to make a lot of money and like
So think about that for 1 second before you pack up, because I think Hannah made a great point here. Because it's almost like a cycle too. So we as a society value this big house, right? How do we get this big house though? We have to have the knowledge to be good in our profession or be really specialized in something, right? Because some professions make more than others. So maybe you pick something that's going to give you more money, or you're so good at something you get more money. But then what do you do with your more knowledge? You put it into material items like the big house, so that everybody knows that you have all the money.
Well, it's like
and
the
that you have
people
all
that
the
go into
knowledge.
doctors, like go into being a doctor for the money versus.
Right.
Like,
that's not. That's literally.
Do you think
not-
people
no.
go into becoming a doctor
Yeah,
for
it
the
is
money?
because
Yeah,
it is
well,
because
okay,
some
well,
people
my family
don't
did it.
like-
It's not. I'm not. Stop tweeting.
I'm